Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the late start. I just had too much stuff to go through to start on time. Never can promise a perfect show, but sometimes I'm like, do I want it to be sloppy today or extra sloppy? You guys can be the judge. Let's see who's in here. Because this body cam video of Lurch is killing me. Lone Wolf, good morning. Preschool Granny, Mama K. Uli Girl, Gaelic. Kayla, hello. Sonia, hello. Sonia's doing online courses for her new job. Congratulations, Sonia. Hello, Shannon. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Robbie. Hi, Peace of Mind. Fairy Dust Diaries, good morning. Hi, Big T. How you been doing? Katrina, Debbie, there's our friend Aggie, Jody. Hi, Lisa. Lisa, I probably won't be here much. Have to get ready to go to a wedding in an hour. In the middle of the week? Usually they do those on the weekends. Either way, weddings are fun occasions. Have fun. Outlaw, good morning. Hello, Chris. Steve Beasley's in the house. So is Juicy Tequila Bobo and Snow. If I miss anybody, I apologize. Just saw Deb. I saw hi to Deb in Discord. Diane, hello, November Day. So this obviously is a Lifetime movie in the making. And every single day, something more comes out. That just blows my mind. The headline yesterday that said, Casey is cooperating with authorities. I said, oh, that's our hero right there. Casey is cooperating? Who wants his cooperation? You think he's going to tell you the truth? Now, I do believe the story where he said they were prepared for a shootout. I think that's kind of how he wanted things to go down. I do. We're going to get to that in just a second. Got some more people coming in. Yep, Bonnie, it is a Lifetime movie. Hello to Boston Moms. It is Hump Day. There's my friend Pat, Fruit Loop, Anna. So, shootout, I believe that's what they planned for. He obviously didn't have the man boobs to do it by himself. So when she inflicted a fatal injury on herself, he wasn't really prepared to defend the Titanic alone, is what it seems to me. That's just what it seems to me. I'm going to go through some comments from the last show and get through some very, very interesting clips. Hold on. All right. Donna said, well, he caused that woman to take her life. Money is the root of all evil. It will do the trick every time. So, speaking of the money, where did $61,000 go? He did not eat that much in beefaroni and biscuits in the last, up until 11 days. Where is $61,000? Okay, she had already purchased the first getaway car. The other two, between those two, they didn't pay that much for those cars. Where'd it go? Janice said, car wash photo. You can easily see the back door open. Casey on the left side standing and hiding that he was putting a rifle under each arm. Whoa. I had to look at that again and I can kind of see it. She said, this could have turned out so badly. Exactly. If the man at the car wash, who, by the way, I believe deserves the reward, had come across Casey, I think he'd be dead. I really do. Sarah says, about the missing money, dirty cops are in every state. It wouldn't shock me if they knew they could pocket it and no one would be none the wiser. It's happened I back the blue. I'm going to say that right now. I back the blue. I don't back all the blue. And in many cases, when certain things are retrieved from a crime scene, they disappear. I mean, it's not like they're going to take the guns that are here on the screen to a pawn shop or anything like that. I mean, those are definitely going to be put into evidence for if Casey ever sees a jury trial. I have a feeling that the capital murder to which he's going to go to death row for is more pressing than this. All right, so that's the arsenal they had with him, because he said they were planning on a shootout. And that's where they inventoried all the cash. I think the cash should go to her mom. Now, sometimes in these cases, I'm not saying it's going to happen in this one, they'll say whatever they had needs to reimburse the search, meaning needs to go back into the marshal's fund or whoever. Because it seems like from the sheriff in Indiana yesterday, they kind of already seem to be squabbling over funds. He will not give credit to the man at the car wash. My husband and I were watching it again last night, and he just threw his hands up, and he's former law enforcement. He goes, that sheriff is trying to get all the credit to his department. He's like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So I'm just going to forecast here. I don't think there's going to be I don't think those funds are going to wind up in Vicki's mother's hands. And though I have a lot of hope, I just think they're going to not mention the reward again. And yes, I think Car Wash Man deserves it. So I'm going to bring up our panelists today, two of my favorite dudes in the world. Good morning, Outlaw Trucker.
Good morning, my friend. How you been?
Good. Just looking through all this insanity that is our favorite lovebirds. Bob said, so her poor mom is going to be stuck paying to bury or cremate her, huh? Could be. If I was her mom, I'd be asking for that $29,000 because she liquidated everything to go on the run with him. I don't know that her mom can use the victim's compensation fund to get her buried because, well, she was complicit in the crime. And from what the autopsy said yesterday in the coroner, that her wound, which was fatal, was self-inflicted. Real deal. They're trying to be cheap with the reward. Give it to the car wash guy. I know. Why? The DA was bragging last week that he pulled all kinds of strings to get it to be like the maximum reward. So, okay, you did all that. The man at the car wash gave you surveillance of Casey. The motel is just catty corner from the sheriff's office, but the sheriff in Indiana makes it sound like good old-fashioned police work got it solved. Give him the reward.
Sounds like they're going to rob the car wash dude on this one.
Yeah, and it makes me sick. This is the reason people do not get involved. I say we mind our own business, but, we try to. Because they don't want to get pulled in the middle of things like this. And look what he's going through. He's got media outlet after media outlet wanting to talk to him. I mean, just perfect strangers. And in the middle of it, he handed them these fugitives, and now they're acting like he didn't do anything. Oh, we knew on May 2nd. Well, then you should not be in law enforcement if you knew on May 2nd that the nationwide manhunt was laid up across the street from you.
Yeah, right underneath their nose all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering how the people at the hotel didn't notice them. They had to take their money.
Yeah. But maybe most of them didn't watch social media and all that and TV, and must just have ignored it and thought it just a normal day and took the cash and gave them the room.
Well, I mean, honestly, though, I mean, unless you haven't touched a phone or turned on a TV or computer or anything since April 29th, you'd be a pretty ignorant person not to know these two were out.
Yeah.
Mob scene. Did she shoot herself? Yes, she did. Oh, Court K. Thank you, Court K. She said crackheads don't watch the news. Probably not. They probably don't. Now, this is interesting. Life Chaos said a homeless man bought the room for them. Really? Because I've been wondering how I wouldn't think he would go in, got in and out of the lobby. They have cameras. Even this one would. Huh. Let me bring up Lone Wolf. Good morning, Lone Wolf.
Good morning, Brooks, Outlaw, mods, and family. Today's going to be special. Everybody that's here for the live stream, you're going to learn a little bit as far as about investigative knowledge.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
And that has to do with the mysterious 911 call.
You bet. Well, I just learned something that, again, I'm picking my jaw up off the floor. The motel guy said they paid a homeless guy to pay for the room. Odd that he's admitting that. Very odd that he's admitting that. And even stranger that they got someone to do a favor like that for them. Personally, if I ran a business, I would just be like, you know what? I didn't recognize him. I wouldn't say, yeah, a homeless guy, checked him in. Single mom of 4. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you. So let's get to the 911 call first. I'm trying to break everything down into order so it makes sense. It may not, but altogether we can figure it out. Yeah, the homeless. Okay, I just found this out about the homeless man. Okay, guys, like I said, I was late getting to the show this morning because I had so much to go through. Again, if I ran a place of business, I don't think I would admit that. But hey, that's what they said.
Yeah, that's a new one on me. I never heard that one yet.
Real deal. Thank you for the reminder. Casey called her wife. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. My wife. My wife shot herself. I didn't do it. Get my wife help. Goodness. All right, let's start with the 911 call. Hold on. If you guys can't hear, let me know in chat and, of course, on panel.
Hello? John. Airbags are going on. Let's get out. Run. Get us back to the fucking hotel. Hello?
I think we're going to have to listen to that again. I heard her say, get to the hotel. It doesn't sound to me like she purposely called.
No, she didn't.
And
she didn't even know the 911 call was made because it was automatic.
Okay, so I'm going through a tweet of Brian Enton's. By the way, He does amazing work. And I really hope someone like CNN, Fox, NBC doesn't sweep him up, because they're going to limit what he does, you know, his investigations. He does an amazing job. He does. It's like he gets the story before there is a story. He's great. So on his Twitter, she said, I'm confused about who called 911. Brian said, I am too. We don't know. We don't know. Then someone else said, I just saw this past week about the city commissioner in Sarasota, Florida, hit a tree, had a DUI, where the same thing happened. The OnStar calls 911 when airbags are deployed. She didn't call, the car did, the Cadillac OnStar. But at that point, I can't tell, I'm going to listen to it again, from the video that they had already crashed. Yeah, hang on, Alexis. Yeah, How was the call automatic from the vehicle when it wrecks? Maybe. Yeah, I got to go look at my car's guide to see if it does that.
Yeah, it does automatically. Anytime a car gets into an accident where you can't do it, it'll actually activate OnStar emergency all by itself.
And that makes more sense than her calling. You know what I mean? Okay, real that too. Starlink in car, once there's a wreck, it comes on automatic. Woo! Tell you what, technology gets scarier every day. But in this case, it helped immensely. Let's listen to this again.
Hello?
Okay, she just mentioned the airbags. Hang on so everybody can hear. She just said the airbags.
Hello? John. Airbags are going on. Let's get out. Run. Get us back to the fucking hotel.
So she's sort of chewing Casey's ass right there. She mentions the airbags. You hear her say his name. Airbags again. Just get us back to the fucking hotel, she says. Yeah, let's get back. Oh, man.
Hello?
So she doesn't even know that they can hear her. She doesn't even realize that she's on the phone with 911. So obviously when they bought this Cadillac, they didn't know that that was turned on, or that the former owner had a subscription to it. Now you hear the sirens. Wow. Okay, listen to that one more time. Hang on.
Oh my God.
911.
Let's go. They're going to airbags keep walking to us.
Hello?
John. Airbags are going on. Let's get out. Run. Get us back to the fucking hotel.
Hello?
Okay, agreed. So she went from let's run and get back to the hotel to suicide. And she's talking to him like basically, I'm using this term loosely, any other couple having an argument. Are you trying to kill us? The airbags are going off. Let's just get back to the effing hotel. Let's run and get out of here. Then suddenly, we did. Now, the coroner said it was self-inflicted suicide. There's really no issue stacking more charges on Casey. This escapade is the least of his worries because he's already facing capital murder charges in Alabama, to which he will be on death row. What did you hear in that call, Outlaw?
Kind of strange. I mean, goes back to, all right, who is driving in this? I mean, a driver can actually say, okay, let's get back to the hotel. But it tells me that she might have been sitting in the passenger seat and he was driving at the time. It's kind of confusing now. I mean, really, who was driving at the time?
Yeah. The whole audio is weird. I'm going to listen to it again in a second, but man, my mind is blown. Exactly, Robin. She wanted to get back to the love shack. It almost sounds like an argument I'd have with my husband. What are you trying to kill me? You want the airbags to go off? Let's just get back. And yeah, the report is already out that it was suicide. My question is, I'm not doubting the coroner or anything. How do we go from just get me back to the hotel to she did? This all happened in a matter of minutes. I still want to know who was driving. How can you have the Today Show saying he's driving and you have another network saying she was driving? Somebody knows who was driving. Hell, were they sitting on each other's laps? Hang on, what did Sarah say? Crazy. Court, he had to be driving. And how come we don't hear him in the 911 call? Not that she meant to call 911. You hear her saying Casey. I heard her say his name a couple of times. He didn't even respond to her. So, man, he was properly trained in that short time. He knew not to talk back. He knew not to say anything back to her. Wasn't even as much of a yes, ma'am. Oh, hang on. Now, here's a very good point. And, of course, very obvious. Tamara, if she was asking him to get her back to the hotel, then he was driving. Yeah, if she's got her hands on the wheel, she would just go back to the hotel. Did she think going back to the hotel, though, that they wouldn't find him there? This is nuts. She wore the pants. He was a whipped pup real quick.
But the thing of it is, this is what it really gets me, because anytime an accident comes in, and once OnStar's trips, and they'll say, welcome to OnStar, how can I help you? And all that. Mm-hmm. And I'm surprised they didn't react or anything. And that's the reason why Casey has not answered, because he probably did hear that.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, that could be. But I mean, he wasn't even responding to her.
No.
And they were oblivious that there was somebody in the car talking to them. I don't mean in person, but I mean through the speakers, you know. I mean, it was obviously 911, but I mean, they were so shooken up, they were oblivious to it, it seems.
Yep.
This is crazy. Crazy. What do you think, Lone Wolf? Who was driving?
I'm still up on in the air as far as on that, based on the body cam footage that I saw when they were trying to get Vicki out of the car. Now, grant you, her feet were on the driver's side, but they pulled Casey out first, so he was on top of her. So, looking at the fact that he was on top of her, then that makes him the driver.
Mm-hmm. It looked that way to me too. And I'm trying to figure out high-speed chase. She tells him to get me back to the hotel. Well, she's driving, unless she thought he was going to swoop her up and carry her, put his cape on and fly. I don't know. And also, she's got a gun in her hand. You know, you would think that she would have been the getaway driver because she is trained law enforcement. And so she knows how to do high speed. Me, I'd be the worst one. Okay. I drive 10 miles under the speed limit. I am the person on the road that you all hate. Get out of my way. You're so slow. That's me.
And then the other thing, okay, when those airbags deploy, they knock you senseless. So you're not going to be coherent right away.
No, and what's really funny about that place I used to work at, we did MRIs and stuff, and a lady walked in one day, and she'd had a car wreck. And I was like, oh my God. I thought this car must have rolled 50 times. She was so beat up. And she said, no, she was just there to have her, there to have her wrist MRI'd. She goes, no, that's all from the airbag. It looked like it had taken the skin off her arm. Her face was so swollen. And she said, that's all from the airbag. She said, that's not even from the collision. The wreck wasn't, I mean, it wasn't even like a high impact wreck, if you know what I mean. So let's look at this clip real quick. Court says, oh my God, I hate you for driving slow. I'm telling you, better safe than sorry. Yeah, savage. Exactly. She said they burn you. That's what she said. She said she thought she was on fire.
Yeah. I think some of the airbags are rated about 30 to 50 pounds of pressure. Once that valve releases, it's instant.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just like with any other safety precaution, there's positive and negatives, if you know what I mean.
Behind bars this morning after a wild manhunt that ended with his accomplice dead. This morning, we have new video and information on their capture. Casey White was handcuffed and taken into custody after 11 days on the run with former corrections officer Vicki White. Overnight, the fugitive arrived back in Alabama after his arrest in Indiana. And this is new video of him arriving at the Lauderdale County Courthouse for his arraignment. And this morning, we have Vicki White's autopsy results. The coroner says she died of a single self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Senior national correspondent Brian Nenton is live this morning with the very latest. Brian.
Rutabaga new this morning, Casey White is back in Alabama where all of this started. The corrections officer who helped him escape, we have learned from the coroner, did kill herself. And for the very first time, we are now hearing her voice in a newly released 911 call. Casey White, extradited and back in Alabama to face a judge after an 11-day manhunt, is finally over. Dashcam video shows the moment police stormed Vicki and Casey White's car on Monday. You see officers cuff White and lay him down on the hood of the patrol car. Then they put him down on the ground. We're also getting a look at what was inside the getaway car. $29,000 in cash and an AR-15, 4 handguns, a taser, and multiple rounds of ammo. The Vanderburgh, Indiana County Sheriff says it all would have ended much, much worse if they hadn't done the pit maneuver and stopped the couple.
And we later found out, had they not done that, the fugitive was going to engage in a shootout with law enforcement.
But the sheriff has taken all the credit, right? Don't forget that. His whole agency's taken all the credit. Forget the marshals, forget the sheriff in Alabama who's been on TV 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. According to him, they were on this from, like, what do you say, May 2nd? He's ridiculous. Yeah. Give the money to the man at the car wash.
The sheriff says Vicki White was shot and killed, and he says all indications are she took her own life. Police released a 911 call made from inside the car during the pursuit, and you can hear what appears to be Vicki's voice.
Airbags can go off and kill us.
Hello?
Airbags are going off. Let's get out. Run. Get us back to the hotel.
Before the chase, detectives say the couple was staying at this motel just across the street from the sheriff's office. Vicki wore wigs when she came in and out. The manager says he never saw them, and it was a local person who rented the room.
And they did not even use fake ID or nothing. Somebody else checked in officially, and then they were visiting them, technically.
And you heard the manager of the hotel say that it was a different man who rented the room. We have confirmed through the sheriff's office that Vicki and Casey paid a homeless man to go to that motel and rent the room for them. This morning, Casey White is not back in that county prison that he got out of. He is now in the state penitentiary.
Thank you so much.
I don't know where to start. Okay, the homeless man, one, he's homeless, gets them a room for 14 days while he is still homeless. That sucks. I wonder if they did anything for him. The 911 call again, when she says get us back to the hotel, what did she think was going to happen when they got back there? Like they weren't going to follow him? Did she have a head injury or something? I mean, before the gunshot. What'd she think was going to happen when they got back to the hotel? Like they weren't going to find him?
Well, I know.
Uh-oh.
I know that 911 call needs to be cleaned up and everything, because I'm still wondering when the shot happened. When did she shoot herself? Because the 911 call was still on. It was still on during the whole time.
Yeah.
But you never hear a gunshot.
Yeah. So, I mean, who hung up on who?
So I've got a lot of unanswered questions, because with this, with the car calling 911, I don't think the sheriff in that town was expecting that as far as to be uncovered.
No.
Because it draws a lot of questions into, did Vicki really shoot herself? When did she shoot herself? Because as long as that 911 call, it didn't get disconnected right away, because you can still hear all the sirens coming in and everything.
There's another call where you hear the gunshot, but it doesn't sound like it's this one. I'm just wondering how the call got disconnected, because they didn't know who they were talking to. She didn't realize she was talking to anyone other than Casey saying get back to the hotel. And again, my question is, what'd she think was going to happen? And as far as the homeless guy, yeah, I'm sure they paid him and everything. I'm just trying to figure out, you're homeless. You know, I just don't think I'd be doing them any favors. That's just me. The homeless man is the only person I can think of that would be clueless in all this.
Yeah.
You know.
A homeless person, yeah, they'll accept a good amount of cash as far as to register you into a hotel. Hell, he might have even stayed in the same room with them.
That's what I'm wondering. You know, money talks.
Yeah.
You know, they have nothing to lose. He needs things. So it's just sick all over the place. And like I said, and like single mom Thor said, he's not going to be watching TV or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
Then I'm wondering, how did they even approach him with this? He had to have known, not that he would care because he's getting something out of it. Something's not right if someone says, I need you to rent a room for me in your name for 14 days. We plan to lay up in there, but I can't use my name. Was it I left my driver's license at home? I don't know. It's just one more oddity of this case. Hang on. Good grandma said, and I agree. Sounds like the airbags threw everything off. All I could hear was her afraid of the airbags and then saying to run to the hotel. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I'm kind of like with Lone Wolf on this. I mean, it is kind of mysterious of who did actually hang up on the OnStar. But then turn around, what we heard that sirens coming in, but who actually did pull the trigger to shoot? That's kind of curious. I am with Lone Wolf on this.
Yeah, I hate to question the coroner, but I'm going like, for one, Casey is a homicidal maniac, okay? He is a criminal. He is a bad, bad guy. She goes from get me back to the hotel. Again, I don't know what she thought that would solve, to she's dead. Hate to launch a conspiracy theory. It's just odd to me. So I'm going to watch some more footage. Oh, hang on. Robin said there is a video of the police taking the gun out of her hand and pull her out. Well, I guess that solves that. Still very odd to me. Very odd. And exactly how much time would she have gotten for helping him? I'm looking at the warden's wife in Oklahoma. I think she was sentenced to 10 years. It's not like she would have spent the rest of her. Well, maybe she would have. I don't know. I don't know their laws there. I don't know. If anyone knows, let me know.
That's just 10 years as far as on the.
Casey, did you kill Vicki White? Did you love Vicki? Did you love Vicki? Did you kill Connie Ridgway?
Is that the sheriff with him? Let me see.
Yep, it is.
I love the questions. Did you kill Vicki White? Did you love Vicki White? I'm surprised he's not talking. They said he's cooperating. I'd love to hear his answers. You look at this again, because you know that sheriff, you know how ticked off he is.
Casey, did you kill Vicki White? Did you love Vicki? Did you love Vicki? Did you kill Connie Ridgway?
Thanks for watching.
I saw the back of the jacket. The SWAT team brought him back. Oh my God. Savage. I forgot. For some reason, I thought 10 years, she said. The warden's wife in Oklahoma that helped the prisoner escape, and they were on the run for a long time. She did 6 months and was sentenced to 1 year. Yeah. So Vicki, she wouldn't have been in jail forever. Did you hear all the questions they were yelling out at Casey, Lone Wolf?
Yeah. If he's cooperating with law enforcement, I guess he would be, because he'll get a sweet little deal to help cover up all the mistakes that were made.
On their end or law enforcement's end?
On law enforcement's end.
Okay, that makes sense. You know, really, unless he's just trying to, spend some time and keep himself busy. Really not anything he can do. Because like I said, the capital murder in Alabama has got him put away forever. When I saw the SWAT, I mean, wow, Casey, you must be proud that the SWAT team had to bring you back. Sincerity said they had camping stuff in the car. That's what I have been wondering, if they were planning on going to the mountains or something like that to lay low for a while, because she was in those different survivalist groups on Facebook for a while. Medium Mama said Alabama has a mandatory 10-year sentence for escape, but because she had no record, she would have done 27 months at best. Yeah, and also being former law enforcement, could have been less. I just, the suicide is very weird, but the sheriff said she did not want to come back and face her family, her friends, and her coworkers with what she'd done. As if they didn't already know. But that's what he was saying, because, he knows her. He knows her well.
It's all about saving face.
Yeah. Well, and then we go back to, how could she fall in love with him? And I know people say I'm silly, and I am. I really think those two were very enamored of each other. The 911 call, like I said, just getting back to the hotel, Casey, it wasn't like, get me out of here. It was like a couple bickering,
Yeah, she wore the shoes in that family.
She wore the pants. What do you think, Outlaw?
Yeah, I think she did too.
Well, another pundit has talked about the psychology of Vicki. Now, last week we had a clip from Dr. Phil where Dr. Phil was talking about women who fall in love with men in prison. Well, Vicki is one of them. So hang on, I'm going to get to this clip because it is very interesting. Robin, Casey will be a hero to his prison buddies. He probably will if they let him go around anybody. And imagine the shits it would be if he escaped again. Wow. And the thing is about Vicki, former officers don't bode well in prison. That could have been weighing on her mind too. You know what I mean? Usually they have to keep them segregated.
Yep.
And Shelly, you're right. Casey's life that Casey knows is over because no extra biscuits, no extra big can of beefaroni. No one's going to help him escape now. But he has the rest of his life to remember the love of his life, Vicki.
Well, even
do what, Lone Wolf? You cut out.
I paused because you were getting ready to play a clip.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I cut you off earlier, and I apologize. I didn't mean to.
No, that's okay. What I was going to say is, even before the capital murder charge that was coming up, he's already doing 75 years.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe some people, not in here, because, everybody in here is super cool. But I've seen some comments going, well, he could get less time if he does this and does that. And I'm like, the F does it matter? You could
Yeah.
stack anything on him. He's already away for life. He's not a
Yeah.
cat. He doesn't have 9 lives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
if
already sitting on death row, so they can't go do anything to sweeten this deal up or anything.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's not sitting on death row. He's
Not
got
yet,
it.
but not yet,
he's-
but he will be. Let's correct that. He will be.
Well, it all depends. If he's cooperating with law enforcement right now, it might be towards a deal for the upcoming murder charge.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to reference. I'm always thinking ahead because I
Right.
play chess. I try to stay at least a half dozen moves ahead of everybody.
Well, you give me a run for my money, that's for sure. But I tell you what, if they make any kind of deal with him because of this and the coverage, her family, Connie's, is going to come unglued because her son has been on the news telling people how dangerous Casey is. Don't even forget about the family of Christy Shelton that more than likely he killed in 2008. If Alabama makes any kind of deal with him, I'm leaning that they won't. Alabama's a lot like the state I live in, Oklahoma. They don't really sympathize with criminals at all. And I'm also wondering, for the other women out there, no one in here, how many women are going to start writing him letters now? He's been on the news, wanted fugitive. They've seen everything. He'll probably get, now that I think about it, he'll probably get extra biscuits and beefaroni for life because there's those women out there that are going to write him every day.
It's possible.
Savage, they will make a deal for a life sentence with no chance of parole. There's no chance of parole with a murder conviction. But if you mean on these charges, yeah. Yeah, this is crazy. This whole thing is crazy. This is just crazy. I don't even know. James, legalize manslaughter, please. I don't know what you're talking about. Please repost your comment, please, because I'm confused. Yeah, so Savage is like, yeah, on those charges. And I get what you're saying. I want to know how fast they're going to get this trial done for Connie, because the sheriff has said over and over it's capital murder. You know, they want the death penalty, and then how long it's going to take to find out if Christy Shelton actually killed herself or if he did it. I'm leaning towards Casey. That's the reason when they said Vicki killed herself, I was like, but she was with Casey. So how do we know?
Unless she had a sawed-off shotgun, I can't see her having the arm length to shoot herself in the chest with a shotgun.
Oh, you're talking about Christy, right? In 2008? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think basically anyone that dates Casey, and even if they just stub their toe, I'm going to say Casey had something to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
Again, he's not a good dude. Not a good dude. And I hope the sheriff is ready, because there's some crackpots out there that are going to start writing letters to Casey, putting money on his books. If Vicki saw something in him, these other thirsty women will too. Kate, for Big Little Voices, it was sawed off. All right, let's get to this clip. Hold on.
Maine about the manhunt that gripped the nation for 11 days. Investigators are still working to piece together the connection between Casey White and Vicki White, including why the former corrections officer threw it all away to help Casey White escape. It's a question Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton says we will never get answers to. Joining us now to explain a few of the possibilities about how this happened is clinical psychologist Dr. John Duffy. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Rutabaga. Thanks for having me.
So what did you make of this? I mean, when you heard about her throwing away this life, she had accolades, she had awards, she was well liked, she was known to be a compassionate person, and she threw it all away, and now she's dead.
Right. And from a psychologist's point of view, I always look beneath the surface and think like, well, there must have been some kind of susceptibility, some kind of vulnerability in her life that made her prone to his kind of manipulation. And that's what I suspect happened. That's what typically happens in cases like this, is that somebody with a sociopathic tendency is able to make a victim of somebody over time. And I think it's been over the course of a couple of years, and really take advantage of them, convince them we have this special thing, we have this special friendship. And if we could just get out of here together, then we could create some kind of life together. And I'm not sure exactly how that went, but I suspect.
Now, I agree with that 100%, not for me per se, that somehow he got in her mind and she created, like Dr. Phil said last week, this fantasy land in her mind that they could be together happily ever after, never mind the fact that he's in jail and will be there for the rest of his life. That actually does make sense. But then the roles reversed and she's the dominant one. She gets him out of jail, not legally. She's got all the money. She's got all the guns. I mean, you know, does that make sense, Outlaw? What do you think?
Yeah, we knew she had all the guns because she's a licensed officer, and also that she had permits to carry all these firearms.
Well, and remember, he's a con man. What do? They con people. He found her weakness. And I think over time, there was a grooming process. And then she goes into fantasy land in her mind. And well, here we are now.
Yep. Cons will do it.
Yep.
Every time.
It is such a big thing. Any correctional officer will tell you, my cousin's a correctional officer. You don't make friends with them.
No.
Close to me, there was a situation where a correctional officer did a favor for an inmate. I don't know what the favor was. It was something as simple as like a pen and paper or something like that. Very nominal. And tried to hold that over that guard's head for a very long time. And it escalated out of control. This came from like something simple that you and I wouldn't even think of. Hey, can I borrow a pen? Sure, here you go. I wouldn't think about it. Move on. They're very dangerous, manipulative people.
I suspect that's roughly the framework.
So you don't look at the story and say she was the mastermind, she was in control, she had the key to the prison, she could have, you know, she was responsible for helping him escape. You look at it more like, you know, she was this vulnerable person. She had just nursed her dying ex-husband as he passed away. She might have been in a lonely, vulnerable spot and been taken advantage of by him.
Right. And
okay, I see where they're going. And we can all agree to disagree here. What the reporter here fails to mention is this started in 2020. This is before her ex-husband passed away. He passed away in January. Now, maybe his passing and she no longer had someone to take care of. Maybe that turned up the flames, if you know what I mean. Got things going, you know, in more full gear.
You know, certainly she executed a lot of what he benefited from, right? So there was some masterminding going on. Certainly there was some plotting and some executing going on. But I think it was under the guise of being manipulated all the way through, you know, because she's the only person, if you think about it, who had everything he needed to achieve his goals. Not necessarily hers. You're right. She had a lot going for her, but to achieve his. And so I think he convinced her that his goals were her goals.
And when you look at him, right, you're looking at both of them. What do you make of him? You think he's a sociopath?
It's hard for me to imagine that he's not, in that he is, I'm guessing, very manipulative. I can't imagine the circumstance, given the facts, where that's not the case. At the very least, he's a very manipulative guy, but I suspect sociopathy creeps in there, especially when you convince yourself that you can do something that people hardly are ever able to actually achieve.
Right.
Like breaking out of prison. Let's talk about that. I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. You're not a doctor. I think we can all take a guess, though. He's a sociopath. What do you think, Lone Wolf?
Okay. The first time that he started to get into her mind and exploit her was the divorce. Now, when her ex-husband died, that just reinforced that exploitation. Because I'm sure.
I'm going with you on that. I think when the ex-husband was declining and they were still close and he passed away, I think, I think that amplified everything. I have a comment here. James Barton, Brooks, do you like crack? No. Who the hell are you and why are you leaving these weird ass comments in here? God. So yeah, I think it amplified it. I think it really got her going. What do you think, Outlaw?
Yeah, it would have put her in a vulnerable state and turned around, and how he manipulated her to try to get in her brain and everything to make him look good and smelling like a rose and all that. Then once she's seen some things, then there, bam, it all went together.
Hey, Clark, can you just get James out of here? Nobody here is talking about legalizing manslaughter, crack, and stuff. Come on, go find somewhere else. Didn't even pick a clever YouTube name.
Yeah, Brooks.
Yeah.
I was going to say that last statement as far as about the crack, okay, the mentality of that person, okay, that reference is either a sexualized reference or it has to do with drugs. Either way, that person doesn't need to be in the chat.
No, he's not very smart at life. That's a guarantee right there. He needs to grow up.
Nah, I think we're all good here. We don't need people like James around. We also don't need people like Casey around. But like I said, again, I think he's going to start getting lots of letters in jail and everything. And I agree with what you guys are saying, that, this was definitely a grooming process by a con man on a woman that had something, going on in her life. I'm not ready to make Vicki a victim yet.
Not yet.
No, I think a lot more is going to have to come out for me to, I'm sorry. A lot more is going to have to come out for me to feel some sympathy for her. And I know some people are, they're irritated with me saying that, but that's just how I feel right now. We can all agree to disagree in here. Hang on.
It takes a certain amount of confidence to even try, to even plot to carry this out. I know when he was arrested, he identified her as his wife. What do you think went into this kind of grooming over the years?
Well, I think there's a certain cleverness and manipulation affiliated with that. There is kind of a misnomer out there that somebody who has made enough mistakes to get himself imprisoned for life is not intelligent. But I suspect that this man had just enough intelligence, even though he doesn't come across, a lot of people say, as particularly bright. You don't need to have a great deal of just IQ points in order to manipulate another person to help you achieve your goals, especially if you're desperate to have those goals achieved.
And the fact that both of them carried this out, they plotted this, and no one really seemed to know. It happened under everyone's noses. I mean, what does that tell you?
It tells me that he likely, but maybe the two of them together over time, were able to create a culture of two And when your culture is that small, you're able to make really bad decisions and convince yourself this can work. We can make this happen, without consulting anybody else.
Us against the world.
Exactly.
All right, Dr. John Duffy, it's really interesting to look at this part of the story. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red.
Okay. So, I mean, it goes without saying that he hit a nerve with her. They became enamored. And like I said, here we are. It makes no sense to me, but it made sense to Vicki. I want to know this too, that Casey was brought back to the same facility in Alabama. I would think you would put him in a higher security facility than there. Just me, though.
He is in a higher security. They only brought him back to the county jail to go before the judge. Once he went before the judge, they transferred him to the state penitentiary.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I missed that. That's very important. Very important. Okay, so he is, I mean, because I was thinking they were going to put him like in Terre Haute or something like that. I mean, I knew they would, a place like that, not necessarily Indiana. So yeah, it gets crazier every day. Every day. There are unanswered questions, a lot. I'm going to play one more clip and start winding it down, but I'm going to have a lot more questions. And when I do, we're going to be live. What questions do you guys have that you think haven't been addressed?
Well, I'm going to throw out a new terminology. Okay. And the evidence for this terminology is based from childhood sexual trauma. Okay. It's called the victim perpetrator. That's where a victim gets exploited and manipulated to becoming a predator.
So in turn, you're saying she became a predator.
Yes. However way he manipulated her, okay, say her divorce was the first incident, okay? She's a victim at that point. When her ex-husband passed away, that was the reinforcement of the manipulation, okay? And at that point, she, regardless, okay, of whether she was a victim or not, she's an adult. She knew what her boundaries were, and yet she still became a perpetrator.
So she went from victim to volunteer to a criminal. Because at some point, she volunteered to be a victim. She's a smart woman, and she knows he's not a good guy. She knows her job. She knows why people are locked up.
But that's when you're going from a victim and you're being manipulated. The victim is being manipulated, okay, by the perpetrator, okay. Because of the child sexual trauma and how some victims of sexual trauma, childhood trauma, end up becoming perpetrators. It's because the person that victimized them was able to get into their head and make it like they were going to take care of them.
Mm-hmm. And she fell for it hook, line, and sinker because he hit something that was vulnerable with her. I still don't understand in her right mind how she could think that he could take care of her when he's behind bars. What do you think, Outlaw? What questions do you have?
I got a lot of questions. How did it get started inside the jailhouse? What kind of movement did he make? I mean, to get her in a situation, a vulnerable situation, and also what the detail of personal information to get this started. I mean, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah. I'm going to go through a couple of comments real quick. You're exactly right, Outlaw. I had a comment up a second ago. Was this the first inmate she got involved with? I want to know that too. Did she befriend any other inmates? Not to this level, but I wonder if she ever was friendly with any other inmates that crossed the boundary. And the boundary in facilities, it's a huge boundary. Like, you are not friendly with them at all. You don't talk about your personal life. You don't tell them happy birthday. You don't, you don't ask them how court went. I mean, nothing.
Nothing. You don't tell them where you live or nothing.
You don't say, how was your cold beans and white bread? Nothing. I mean, it's ironclad. Nothing. It's turn around, time for a shower, go back. That's it. Okay, so Native G. This is a really important comment. She put it up earlier. I wanted her to grab the link, but she must be busy because I really want to hear more about her career. She said, working in a max prison for 2 decades as a therapist, this is more common than not. That's what I keep hearing. The governor here decides what the news can say about prisons. This is common, guys.
Yeah.
I keep hearing that.
And I agree with her. I used to work in a prison to revamp their steam lines and all of that. It is a co-ed prison, and they also had the crazies in there too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't see behind the fence. And I agree with her 100%.
Juicy Tequila Bobo said the same thing. The first show we did about this, she's like, this is way more common than you think.
Yeah.
Darlin, hang on one second. I don't know what you mean. Darlin Valentine, Alabama doesn't need Casey for anything. Well, no, I mean, they don't need Casey per se, but he's got to stand trial for killing Connie Ridgway. They're going to have to, they want him on death row for that. And her family does too.
Well, not only that, they're going to ask him a lot of questions about how to get tangled up with Vicki White and all that too. That's going to hit books.
Alexis, I'm loving these comments, guys. Keep them rolling in. My husband is in law enforcement and corrections. Yes, this happens literally at least once a month that an employee gets caught having relationships with an inmate. That's what I keep hearing. And it could be something as small as just small talk. Just small talk. And then it escalates.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, they are right. I mean, I was in the prison for almost a year and a half before we got the job done. Once you get the inmates in your head and they start small talk and they get you, yeah, it's done. They will have you.
Native G said, it's insane, Outlaw. She said, when the inmate gets caught, they go to the hole and the staff goes to jail. We have a nurse and an inmate on the run now. Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Woo.
It happens a lot more than a lot of people think.
You know, I mean, a lot of, let's just say like American Airlines. They're very specific. You don't date your coworkers. You don't compliment them on their clothes. You don't even mention anyone's perfume or cologne. In the jail, it's taken to a whole new level because we can see what happens. This is crazy. All right, I'm going to play some more body cam footage. You guys ready?
Go for it.
Alexis, they are so understaffed, they will hire nearly anyone. And they, and they need to pay our officers more. They do.
This is brand new dash cam video of the moments that Casey White was taken into custody. He was the convicted convict, lifetime career criminal that convinced his prison guard, Vicki White, that he was in love with her, and convinced Vicki White to break them out of jail, which is exactly what was done. Vicki White is now dead. She died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He's back in custody, evidently headed down back to Alabama, back to the same jail that he escaped from. Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton runs that jail. He runs the department that is responsible for failure after failure that allowed, as we said, his chief deputy in the jail to run off with her lover. And he's been on TV almost more than Andy Griffith for the past 10 days. Well, the jailer likely shot herself. Perhaps Casey Cole White shot her. That's going to be figured out. It ended their 11-day odyssey. We don't know exactly what happened, but White told cops that the couple planned to go out in a blaze of glory with half a dozen weapons they had in the car. Brian Enton was there as it ended.
So he's admitting to yet another crime that was being planned, to go out in a blaze of glory. Casey, you couldn't do it yourself? You needed Vicki to help you? Seems like he just became, almost like a Boy Scout when all this happened. Cooperating, yes sir, no sir, walking in line. Yeah, not that I wanted to see a shootout. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad it didn't happen. But that's what they were planning.
And joins us now. Brian, I just can't get over this fact that he's going back to the same jail that had all of the failures in it that allowed this to happen in the first place.
Well, listen to this, Leland. This actually just changed within the last couple of hours. Initially, we were told the plan was for him to go back to that jail and later get transferred to the state prison. Well, now they have decided that he will go straight to the state prison. So he's going to be taken tonight to Florence, Alabama. They're going to have a late night court session for him where they'll arraign him around 9:30 or 10 o'clock tonight. And now.
Imagine the judge having to come in at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Wow. They don't really like to work off hours, if you know what I mean. A comment I had up a second ago from Juicy Tequila Bobo. She said, the nurses are notorious for it. So we've had several comments saying this is more common than we know.
He will not be going back to the county jail anymore. They apparently figured that was a really, really bad idea, and they say he's going to go straight to the prison.
You have to wonder who thought that was a good idea to begin with. It may have been this sheriff, Rick Singleton, who has been on TV an awful lot over the past 11 days. This is what he said about Vicki White. Take a listen. Said he trusted her.
I hope she survives this. I don't know the extent of her injuries. I hope she survives it. We don't wish any ill will on Vicki in terms of her health or her well-being, but she has some answers to give us.
Now she won't be able to provide the answers. He went on to say that he trusted her as a leader. You got people in place in key positions she was in. You have to have confidence in them and the like. But still, as we look back on this, and you reported really well on this last night, that there were all of these issues in this jail. This wasn't the first time that a prisoner had been allowed to get in a car with just one jailer. This wasn't the first time protocols were broken and the like. It appears as though she had been having phone calls with this guy while she was a jailer and he was in the state penitentiary. Is there any thought here that maybe things that in Lauderdale County need to be looked at?
Well, I have a feeling they're going to be taking a very close look at all of those issues. I mean, Leland, you have to keep in mind they were having a romantic relationship inside the jail. That's the way the sheriff described it. And yet no one seemed to know that this was going on for so long as she was planning their escape. Yet they were, doing things inside the jail. Again, she was a boss. She got away with things because she was second in command. Everyone trusted her. I feel for the sheriff in that way because I think he feels betrayed. But yeah, I would imagine they're going to go back and look over their protocols again.
Yeah, we're looking at some of the pictures of what they had, cash and weapons and the like. Is there a sense when you talk to the sheriff, any kind of sense of responsibility or personal questioning of his own judgment that this has happened? And boy, could it have ended a whole lot worse had they had hostages or the like?
Yeah, I mean, he's the first one to tell you, I'm the sheriff of Lauderdale County. Of course, I take responsibility. This is my county. So he does take responsibility. But at the same time, I think he feels duped by Vicki. I mean, this was a woman who he trusted, and it appears everyone trusted. So I think he lays a lot of the blame on her. And you heard him in that soundbite you played. He wanted to get some of these answers just for himself personally. How did you do this to me after working for me for almost 20 years? And it appears now he's not going to.
Yeah, for sure. And as you made the point, Casey White now on his way to the state penitentiary, a little bit more secure location. Brian Enton, thank you very much. Great reporting. Keep at it throughout the night. All right. More of that video coming up.
Brian Enton does great work. We had a lot of questions coming through in the comments. Why was there not blood on him? There would be some kind of splatter or something, I would think.
Yeah, there should have been.
Like I said, I'm not putting any conspiracy theories out there. Just everything in this case is weird. And that's another weird thing. Again, I want to know where $61,000 went. I want to know why they're sloughing off the man at the car wash. I don't get that at all. I don't get that at all. Deb said the bullet grazed his head. I have not heard that. What? So yeah, very, very interesting. In closing, what are your thoughts, Lone Wolf?
I'm still on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I back the blue, but I also am also, as far as get rid of the corruption that is within. And there's too many questions going on. I mean, with the sheriff, as far as trying to take responsibility, they didn't even contact the U.S. Marshals until the video at the car wash was released. And even until the marshals talked to the car wash driver, as far as manager, the police still didn't react until the U.S. Marshals talked to him and confirmed, yeah, that was Casey White.
Yeah, I agree. Looking at this comment from Savage, if she was right-handed, meaning Vicki, and he was the driver, and she shot herself in the head and it was pressed against her skull, then there would not be blood splatter on him. Her hair would soak up most of it. Okay, that makes sense. Then I hear that he was grazed by this bullet. How can one bullet that went inside of her graze him? Did it graze him, turn around, and then get her? I want to know that too. I want to know. Real deal. Why leave a truck parked in the middle of a car wash with keys and in working condition? It's the most obvious thing. I know. Why? You're on the lam. You're hiding. He didn't even try to change his appearance. He had on sunglasses and a hat. On camera. Why? I want them to ask him stuff like that.
The only thing I can think right now is the fact, with him being on top of her, okay, she might have tried to kill him and then herself.
I don't know. That's definitely a possibility. Lisa said there was a ton of blood on the passenger window. See, I keep looking at these pictures, looking for, not to be gruesome, looking for blood, and I'm not seeing it. I'll look harder today. That would make sense. Well, because and then she was the passenger. My goodness gracious. I don't know. I don't know. This is just absolutely crazy. Outlaw, what are your thoughts in closing?
Well, I'm going to sit on the fence too until I see further evidence and facts come out. But it's hard to tell. But I know if they didn't use the hollow point bullets, that it would never come out. If they would have used the right bullet, it would just get inside her brain, up there in that skull. It would never come out. So I'm puzzled on it, roughly.
And I have not heard, not that I'm a ballistics expert, but I haven't heard the caliber of bullet either. Has anyone on here or in chat?
No.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know. Have no idea. I want to say thank you very much. You guys are super cool. Lone Wolf, Outlaw. I love your insight on cases.
Anytime.
You're welcome.
Always have great research and a great common sense perspective to these cases. And I couldn't appreciate you guys more.
Well, at least we try to tell the facts. That's all we need to do. Just do a lot of digging, a lot of researching. If we don't do it, if we can't find it, we're not going to put it out and let people run on it for misinformation or speculation. We are going to trying to find the real hardcore facts.
That's it. Facts as we know them and can understand them. And even sometimes, like in a case like this, the facts are like, what? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So are you guys going to be back here in basically an hour? We have a show about Harmony Montgomery. Kayla has been released from jail, and I want to go over again about the bombshell Crystal's sister put out there about a sighting of Harmony. You guys going to come back?
Sure, I'll be back.
Awesome. Awesome. So reminder to everybody, be back here in an hour and have another great discussion about Harmony Montgomery. Missing since November of 2019. We have new updates. And as always, lively chat and discussion. I absolutely adore it because you guys are the best chat and best community on YouTube. You keep it real. And except for that one freak that was in here, you basically express what you see and we can agree to disagree. It's always a fun time with you guys. Thanks, Mod Squad. I know we had a couple crazies in here. A lot of new people in here today, guys. Hit that sub button, hit the remind, and come back and chat with us. Well, we're pretty much live like 2 or 3 times a day anymore, but always at 9 a.m. every morning. So I will see you guys back here at noon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the best. Have a good hour.